Hi, I'm Salmon Whitehead, and in the following film I hope to give you a few pointers in bagging your bunnies with your shotgun. Now the shooting season has just finished. Vast tracts of land over our country open up to us rabbiters, and one way to cover the acreage is to go with the aid of the shotgun. So what we're going to do is give you a few hints, tips and pointers and just show you how we go about rabbit shooting. As with any forms of shooting, every shot has got to be a safe shot, and there's no place for an unsafe or twitchy or nervous gun. The problem with rabbit shooting over the ferrets, it has that magical quality to unnerve the safest and steadiest of shot. There's one thing shooting in the air with a safe backdrop, but when you're shooting on the ground amongst foliage and ferrets and running rabbits, it can get the brain going, and I have seen the most experienced of game shots turn to jelly with rabbits running around their legs. And it's one thing shooting on your own because you know where everything is, but when there's two of you, you have to be a little bit more careful. So you've got to run through your head a little bit of a risk assessment before pulling the trigger and exploding 32 grams of lead through the air at great velocity towards your target. You've got to think, where is my companion? Where are the ferrets? Is there a vehicle in the way? Is anybody going to walk with a dog beside me? Milliseconds you've got inside your head to make this decision before pulling the trigger. Some people, it's too much. Mentally, it's very taxing, because when you're stood on that warren looking at the rabbit, you can bet your bottom dollar, as soon as you switch off and start daydreaming about a hot cup of tea, the rabbit's going to run out, it's going to run to safety. So therefore, the following tips will help you keep concentration and bag the bunnies. Safety, we've already covered, but your focus, your concentration, you've got to keep it on the warren, on the ferrets. So we use white ferrets. I mean, I don't really fuss. I can use black ones, white ones, pink ones, blue ones. I know exactly where everything is, but accidents do happen. So therefore, if you're not used to shooting over ferrets, I would strongly recommend using bright white albinos. Stick out like a sore thumb, unless you're shooting in snow. Then, obviously, you would like to use a polecat ferret, which stands out. But for the beginner, I wouldn't really go with rabbit-coloured ferrets, because rabbit-coloured ferrets running around with rabbits, it's going to test your mental capabilities. So therefore, just to err on the side of caution, we're going to use white ferrets. How many? Well, you want the rabbits to bolt. You don't really want to be digging too much if you're shooting bolting rabbits. So therefore, use just one or two. Jills or hobs, your preference. Where are you going to shoot? Well, you stand where you perceive you're in the middle of where the rabbit's going to run. Your safe arc of fire. If there's two of you, make sure you're opposite. Make sure you're wearing a nice cap in case your head's going to go down to rabbit level, picking ferrets up or digging ferrets, and somebody's got to take charge. Somebody has got to tell the other gun where to stand and where not to keep shuffling your feet like you're on a pheasant peg. Because if you do that, after half an hour, you could be 20 yards up the hedge and your friend thinks you're still opposite. So it's always got to be safety, 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 safety. And if you're in doubt, don't pull the trigger. A rabbit running away is far better than an accident. So therefore, when your rabbit comes out and you shoot at the rabbit, all the best shooters in the world, they're going to tell you, shoot it where it's going, not where it's been. Of course, mentally, it's very taxing. Physically, it can be taxing as well if you're covering a lot of ground. So therefore, you want to do something a lot of people forget, and that's keep yourself hydrated and keep yourself with a little bit of food in your backpack so your sugar levels ain't going to go too low. Because it's amazing halfway through the day how people's concentration and energy sags because they're not drinking the right stuff, they're not drinking enough, and they're not eating. So therefore, when your energy slacks, when you're mentally tired, that's when mistakes are going to be made. So this is what the point of this little film's about, trying to prevent any accidents and mistakes when you're rabbit shooting. I shoot with a battered old Lincoln over and under, 12 bore. About time I got myself a new gun, I know. Perhaps I might do this summer, but this gun I've had for nearly 25 years and it's a part of my body. I like a heavy shot though. A lot of people that go rabbit shooting will shoot what they would shoot a pigeon with, a 30 or 32 gram, which is brilliant. 5 or 6s, sometimes I like 5 if I'm in a lot of foliage to get through the bushes. Normally it's just a 32 gram 6. A fairly fast cartridge though, because with my style of shooting, very rarely do they get past 15 yards, so it's you know, it is different. A lot of people though, they give them the sporting chance, but as you know by now, sporting isn't my word. So what we're going to do is just use and shoot the way we do to stop the rabbit from running away. If it's 10 yards, it's 10 yards. If it's 30 yards, it's 30 yards. But you've got to know the limitations of your shooting and the range of your gun. So if you've got a 410, a 16 or a 20 bore, you've got to know your limitations. So therefore, practice does make perfect when you know what shot you can do and what shot you can't do, because like everything else in life, everything when you're rabbit shooting isn't perfect. It doesn't run to a plan, but you've got to be able to switch tactics straight away if things aren't going right. So when you're shooting with your rabbits, if it's not going, you know, if the rabbits are getting away, why not put a little stop net up or a couple of donk boards with little boards through the little bit of a hedge, just to give you a helping hand. If you are a newcomer to shooting, I do strongly recommend you have lessons at a playground, from a shotgun coach. He will put you right. Sometimes you may not be mounting your gun properly, you may not have the right gun for you, you may not have the right calibre of shotgun for yourself. So I did many years ago, and that was the best present I ever had, going to the local playground. And a good friend of mine, Bruce Marks, fantastic coach. This year, you see in our harvest time film, he chucked us a little pointers, because no matter how many times you go shooting, you can always improve. So there we have it, a few little pointers on how we go rabbit shooting. But before you switch the stop button on your computer or your phone or your tablet, please hit the subscribe button. There will be more films coming on the Shooting UK channel, whether it be rabbit shooting, ferreting, long netting, running the dogs, shooting a rifle, or showing you the latest equipment we use to get the better of Mother Nature. Keep tuned.